It's Jordan. It is Josh. Josh doesn't work here full time. He does now. He's on the payroll, ladies and gentlemen, and we pay well. That's why he's putting off his Taco Bell dinner so he can record this show with me tonight. I'm Jordan. Follow the show at LTB Vikings because that's my default Twitter. And then this is Josh. I don't think you have a Twitter, do you?
Yeah, I don't use it.
Yeah.
I don't use it.
Well, then follow the usual guy that's in that chair, Will Goodwin, at Will Badloos. Will will not be with us. Will, maybe, there's like a 10% chance Will be able to record a show this week, but I would not count on it, ladies and gentlemen, as Will is traveling and has some stuff going on with his family. But we are here to talk about the Vikings and the San Francisco 49ers. The Vikings whooped them. I mean, they spanked them. It was a 6-point win that did not feel like a 6-point win. I'm up. The whole fan base is up. Kirk Cousins just smoked the Eagles on Monday night, so that kind of felt like we were all living, what's the word, like, I don't know. What is it?
Vicariously.
Vicarious. Thank you. We were all living vicariously through him as he defeated, Philadelphia. Josh, how are we feeling about the Vikings? 2-0. They just beat the best team in the NFC.
We're going to the Super Bowl, baby. I'm way in. All the way in. Brock Purdy can't beat us, so San Francisco, isn't anything to worry about. The Rams are beat up. Everybody was picking them as a dark horse. I'm drinking the purple Kool-Aid. I'm in. I'm in for a deep playoff run with what do you call him? Sammy Dimes?
No, I call him Sammy System.
Sammy System. That's what it is. With
Because
Sam Darnold.
He was with the Jets and he sucked because they don't have a system. Then he went to Carolina, and if I've learned anything in the last 6 years of my life, it's that no one can play quarterback in Carolina successfully. It doesn't matter how good you are.
Cam Newton was pretty good, but
okay, that was 10 years ago that Cam.
Yeah. But anyway, besides the point,
look,
we're going to the Super Bowl.
This is my takeaway from that game, and it is that the national media is. This is a family show, so I'm not going to call them a bunch of, BI, whats, but they are cowards, quite frankly. I mean, they're just awful people, and I'm a little fed up with it, because this is what they did all offseason. And excuse me if this turns into a bit of a rant, but all offseason, let's go back even further. San Francisco went to the Super Bowl, was clearly the best team in the NFC last season. They were like a play away from winning the Super Bowl in overtime. Like if one Patrick Mahomes pass in overtime gets tipped and intercepted, they win the Super Bowl. They then bring back basically the exact same team, right?
Right.
Everybody says they're going to be the team to beat in the NFC this season. And then San Francisco, after week 1, spanks the Jets. And they say, yep, San Francisco. NFC goes through them. And then the Vikings manhandle them. And the national media said, well, maybe San Francisco's not that good. And it's like, hang on. If it looks like a duck, and it sounds like a duck, and it walks like a duck, and then another winged creature comes in and outducks the duck, you wouldn't say, oh, well, that original duck isn't a duck. No, you'd say whatever the second thing is one hell of a good duck. So, I think the Vikings are just a really freaking good duck. And the national media is like, well, maybe San Francisco sucks. Maybe they're just not that good, because it can't be that the Vikings maybe are one of the best teams. I mean, is it going to be the Vikings and Saints in the NFC title game circa 2009? Is that what the script is 15 years later?
I want to reel you in just a little bit, just reel you in a little bit. I was listening to a national radio affiliate today as I was going to pick my lunch up at work.
Colin?
And it was Colin.
You can say it. We love Colin. We love First Things First. This show's very pro Fox Sports.
I was listening to Colin, and, he made a good point that the first month of the season, so the first 4 games of the season, is almost like an extension. It may have been not his point, but Albert Breer, I think, is who he had on this morning. And he said that the first 4 games of the season have almost become like an extended preseason, almost, if you will. Offenses are figuring out their flow. Defenses are figuring out their schemes. Everybody's still trying to figure out what exactly is going on. You look at the Bengals, for instance, are team here locally. They always start slow in September. They're notorious. I think they said since the playoffs have expanded, there's only been like 3 teams or 4 teams to make it that start 0-2, and Cincinnati's one of them. Like
Yeah.
that's what Cincinnati does. But
I
this
think
isn't a Cincinnati show.
no.
So the reason I say reel it in is I'm sipping the Kool-Aid. I truly believe the Vikings. I think our win-loss total this year, because everybody knows I'm a degenerate over here, was like 6.5, seven and
Yeah.
a half,
It was 6.5.
6.5. I mean, you look at our schedule. The Jets don't look like an AFC powerhouse like everybody said they were going to. The rest of our schedule, like there's games on there that are winnable.
You look at
And
the schedule too, and it's like we have Green Bay coming up, where Jordan Love will probably not be available. And look,
Malik
I
Willis,
love
and they're
I
gonna
love
run
what they
Josh
did to
Jacobs.
Indianapolis. I don't think Sam Darnold goes in there and looks like Anthony Richardson's looked this season,
No.
which is incapable of throwing anything besides 75-yard touchdowns. And then you look at the Rams on Thursday night, which I think a lot of people thought, wow, that's a really tough matchup. With no Puka, no Cooper Kupp, and a depleted offensive line, that
lost 3
offense,
offensive linemen, 3 starting
plus their
offensive
two best offensive weapons, and they can't run the
linemen.
ball
And a
for
starting
crap.
safety.
And yeah, like that game looks very. I mean, all of a sudden, a lot of games that I think people had penciled in as L's when you're looking at the schedule before kickoff. You see what this defense is doing. You see how Sammy System's playing. It seems like could this be a 12-win team?
It could. They have to stay healthy. Another
Yeah.
another thing that I heard today about the Vikings is the system in which they play on defense is a very physical defense. Players get banged up. If everybody stays healthy, we're a couple blown ACLs or and we're a couple injuries away on the defensive side to now we've got holes in our secondary or holes in our linebacker. Like, as long as we stay healthy, I could see us winning 12 games. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities. I could see us competing for a 1 seed in the NFC, and the path to the Super Bowl has to go through Minneapolis. I don't think that's out of the realm of possibilities. We just have to stay healthy. Jefferson's got the contusion going on.
Yeah.
He needs to heal up. Even if he's out there at 75, 80% this weekend, if he's out there, that's better than him being on the sideline because he's still going to draw attention even at 70 or 80%. So we just got to stay healthy. We stay healthy. I'm optimistic about the season, but
I want it from your mouth because you don't do the main show often. I think this might be your debut on like the main show, if you will, like the podcast is what we call it. And so, if this team stays healthy, what's the ceiling? Like what after 2 weeks of watching this healthy team, Ginkle stays healthy, Pat Jones, Harrison Smith, both of the Stouting Colonels, which I think are like 65 combined years of age, if you like add them up with Shaq Griffin and the other guy whose name has escaped, Stephon Gilmore. Like, if everybody stays healthy, what's the ceiling? Is the ceiling 2017? Is the ceiling 98? Is it the 60s with a Super Bowl run? What do you think?
I mean, I think the ceiling, if everybody stays healthy, is, you compete you go off of your I'm optimistic about the 49ers game. We have to remember they were also missing their best offensive weapon in Christian McCaffrey. You play who you play. You play who's on your schedule. And if he's hurt, he's hurt. You play who you play. It's still a huge win for Minnesota. I think everybody stays healthy. I think there's a playoff run in the Vikings' future. You have a defense that's going to compete, and again, staying healthy is going to be a top 10 defense. You're holding, mind you, it's the Giants, but San Fran, they stopped their offense, and that offense moved the ball up and down against the Jets. What's the word I'm looking for?
Elite.
Their elite defense. They moved the ball up and down on that Jets defense. I think a deep playoff run isn't out of the realm of possibilities for the Vikings. I think it can go a step further than Tampa Bay last year. Like how Tampa Bay got on, Baker got hot. They started the year off beating Minnesota. Yeah. Baker got hot and kind of ran, and they kept that momentum. And then they went up to Detroit and had a hell of a playoff game up there. I think you could see that plus a couple steps further with the Vikings if everybody stays healthy and the defense stays at the level that they've been playing
Yeah.
at.
I'm sad that Will's not going to be able to do the show this week because me and Will had pretty different before the season record predictions. I predicted them to win 10 games and go to the playoffs. Will predicted them to win 8 games and miss the playoffs. And I don't know if everybody knows how math works, but every win the Vikings get is one step closer to being at 10 wins. And like, I had San Francisco as a loss. I picked us to lose by 10 last week. And yeah, man, I'm just up. I mean, this is given 2017 vibes where it's like, is this guy going to be the quarterback next season? If he wins a Super Bowl, yeah, but like, if not, no, he's not. I mean, like, there's an answer in the building. They will find a different guy to play quarterback next season. But man, if this defense is doing it, Sam's just playing like he doesn't give a crap. He doesn't give a toot about
Slinging it.
He's just slinging it, man. I mean, like, he's just going out there and he's just executing. He's running around. He's like a souped up, better version of Case Keenum, in my opinion, where it's like, is he good? Probably not. If
I had Dad's little yellow flag, I'd throw a flag on that. I don't think Sam Darnold and Case Keenum are on the same level. I think Darnold
said he was souped up.
No, I think he's significantly better than Case Keenum.
He's significantly more talented.
Correct. Like he has
One
the
of them
arm
was
skill.
a UDFA, I'm pretty sure. The other one was like the number 2 pick.
Number 1 or number 2. He's a top 5 pick, or top
number
3
1
pick,
was Bako in that draft.
Albert Breer also made a good comment about, Sam Darnold. That Colin's like, how is this working for him? O'Connell has simplified the offense for him.
Yeah.
O'Connell has told him, hey, you don't need to dissect when he got drafted and when I can't remember who his coach was in New York.
It was the defense. It was Bowles, wasn't it?
Gase.
Oh, it was Gase. It was Gase.
Yeah, Adam Gase. He had Darnold running a Peyton Manning style offense as a rookie. Sam Darnold doesn't need to be running a Peyton Manning style offense as a rookie. That's too much to comprehend. That's just too much information. O'Connell is telling him, hey, here's the play. It's a quick route. It's this, it's that. It's very simple. Go out there and ball, bro. And that's exactly what he's been doing these last 2 weeks. I hope he keeps it up. So
I watched this is a YouTube channel that I highly recommend everybody check out. It's called the QB School. It's like JT O'Sullivan or just JT Sullivan. But he breaks down quarterback play throughout the league. And he did Sam Darnold. And I watched that today on my lunch break. And he was talking about, about Sammy's system and what he did on Sunday. And he was like, basically, what I took away from it. The YouTuber himself did not say this, but what I took away from it was O'Connell might be a top 2 play caller in the NFL right now, or at least his scheme. I won't say play caller because like that halfback pass. What are we doing? We can maybe pick some nits here in a minute, but his scheme is so confusing for defenses. Like you have to be. The defensive communication has to be A+. The defensive personnel has to be A+. Like, and the way that he was just scheming on that drive where there's no Jefferson, obviously there's no Hawkinson. I think Aaron Jones was out of the game at this point with, he was in the blue tent.
He was banged up.
Yeah, so like we are talking about Jalen Naylor and Brandon Powell go carry the offense, guys.
And Ty Chandler.
And Ty Chandler.
Because Ty Chandler had a couple gashing runs.
He did.
On that drive
He did.
too.
But
we
also faced. We also faced a few third and longs, third and 7 or 7+, and O'Connell just schemed up the way he used motion on a couple of them to confuse the defense, and like it really is neat stuff when you're talking about it, because you're talking about how San Francisco had 3 linebackers out there, and when this guy goes in motion, the middle linebacker now has to be an outside linebacker, and the outside guy came in motion, so he's now the middle. And then they get confused, and now you have Jalen Naylor on what I called the Madden cheese seam route for like a 20-yard gain on like a 3rd and 11. Like, and you have a first down. Now you have a 7-minute field goal drive. The game's over, right? Like, and I don't know, man. I'm telling you. And what makes me really excited is I don't know how good JJ McCarthy's going to be, but I know that. From 2017 to 2018, one of the big problems was it wasn't just Kirk Cousins, and we're not going to talk about Coco, but John DeFilippo could not call plays. He was not a good offensive coordinator. Pat Shomo with Case Keenum was really good. DeFilippo and Cousins, not a good matchup, not a good pairing, not a good offensive coordinator. The offense ain't changing next season. The offense is, J.J. McCarthy is stepping into the same system, easy throws, make it work, and man, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be very exciting. Let's pick some nits. Do you have any nitpicks from this game that you want to get to? Because it's very easy. We could do another 15 minutes talking about Super Bowl predictions, but
I'm the newbie here. I want to hear you start with the what'd you call them? Nitpicks.
nitpicks, picking
Yeah.
nits.
I'm gonna let you pick your nits first, and then I'll kind of carry off of that and see like what avenues you go, because I don't want to steal any Nick Pitts from you.
Well, I will leave the low-hanging fruit to you. I'll leave the low-hanging fruit there. That halfback pass
Yeah.
in that situation, one, Ty Chandler, what are you doing? You can't go out of bounds there. You have to let those 40 seconds tick off. Two, Kevin O'Connell, I love that you're trying to go for the throw. I really do. Why are we trusting Ty Chandler to throw the ball on a second down in the red zone when you already have 2 red zone turnovers and you're up 6?
Yeah.
You need points. You need the time to expire. Run the clock. Take knees at that point. I mean, I'd be okay taking knees at that point. So I get what they were going for. I understand they were trying to win the day, and Kevin O'Connell looks like a genius if Johnny Munt doesn't get assaulted by the defensive back, which I don't think. Dad was saying, "Oh, that should be a penalty." I don't think that's a penalty because the ball was in the running back's hand. So I think illegal contact is no longer like a thing that can happen on a play.
No, but you can't tackle the guy. I mean, you can't just tackle the guy downfield.
Well, he didn't tackle him. I mean, Munt stayed up. He just got. I mean, it looked like he was getting in like a block, and the Ninos just kind of basically said, "F yo out. You're gonna be out of this play," and then Chandler scampered out of bounds, which was like, oh, that's tough. So that's my nitpick. Maybe the next time we're up 6 on a Super Bowl contender, like if we're up 6 against Houston, let's leave that trick play in the bag. Maybe we call that like earlier in the game. Let's just try and run the offense normally and tell Sam Darnold, if you think there's even a 2% chance you're going to throw a pick, eat it and fall down. And we'll take the points and we'll go up 2 possessions with 3 minutes to go in the game. So that's my nitpick. I will now let you get into some of y'all's if you have any.
So my nitpick, let's talk about ball control for the Vikings, because we saw it in week 1, and on our Couch Potato show, we addressed it with CJ Ham eating Butterfinger. CJ Ham on the first drive of the season fumbles a ball and turns it over to the Giants after our defense just had a great 3 and out. Aaron Jones, you're up 6. No, you're up. They were up 10.
Yeah.
10? Or they?
Yeah.
Or no,
they were up 10.
I think they were up 13.
Either way, you were going to extend this lead to 3 possessions.
You were up 2 scores. You have the ball. You're driving. You have a chance to put your foot on San Francisco's throat and really prove we're the head honchos in the NFC this year. And Aaron Jones fumbles the ball on the 1-yard line. It was a weird. They called it a touchback and then brought it back because he was clearly inbounds at the half-yard or like the foot line. San Francisco goes 99 yards down the field and scores a touchdown to cut it to 6 or whatever it was. Aaron Jones, hold on to the ball. You have to don't be cute trying to extend it. You're up 2 possessions. Hold on to the ball. Ball security, 2 hands on the ball, and just if you fall down at the half-yard line, go back to the huddle and say, "I want the tutty. I want it.
Yep.
Give me the ball." Take the ball and score it from the half-yard line. You can't be careless with the ball down there. Have to have ball security there. That was a 14-point swing that made the game closer than it needed to be.
No, absolutely.
You had full possession or full it was laid out for you to just take control of the game and put the nail in the coffin, and you fumbled the ball on the half-yard line. Just ball security. We got to work on that. I need more pictures of O'Connell out there with sticks whacking people, trying to knock the ball out. Give me more of it. I need it, because you can't have silly mistakes like that against caliber teams like San Francisco, Philadelphia,
Houston.
Dallas. Houston, you cannot do that against the good teams and get away with it.
And
Thankfully, we did
eventually
this
it's
game.
going to bite them because eventually the defense is going to have a day where they don't get a turnover.
Yeah.
And then those turnovers hold even worse. Because imagine what that San Fran game looks like if the Vikings have their 2 turnovers and Brock Purdy doesn't just drop the ball and Blake Cashman doesn't jump her out. Because, I mean, then you're talking about drives that potentially... That game gets very different if you take away, 2 turnovers.
Not to veer off here. I heard a crazy stat. Do you know what O'Connell's record is in games when the Vikings win the turnover battle?
We listen to the same podcasts. I'll play along. No, Josh, what is the... you know what? I'll guess that they are 20-1.
No, they're not 20-1. I think they're 7-0. I think is what it was, or 8.
They're 19-0, buddy.
It's 19 games. Jesus Christ.
19 and they've never lost.
I heard it on Cowherd. I didn't even hear it from a different podcast. I heard it on Cowherd. Yep. He said when O'Connell he was doing his hierarchy, the herd hierarchy. Did you see where he had the Vikings listed?
It was like 5, 6, wasn't it?
Six.
He said, because I remember he said, I don't know how long it's gonna last. I was like, I don't care, Colin. I'm up right now, baby. Like,
we've got an employee appreciation thing going on this week at work. So I was on my way outside to play my cornhole match, and he was going through the hierarchy, so I left my AirPod in as I was walking downstairs so I could hear where he had the Vikings because he's up on the Vikings right now. But
well, yeah, Sam Darnold.
We'll see.
That's his guy. I do want to point out, of the Vikings now foul turnovers, the Vikings have as many turnovers as Patrick Jones has sacks, which numerology podcast. I don't know, there's something there, I'm sure. The Viking, one of them was like a fluky not tipped ball, but like Sam got his arm hit as he was throwing it. So like that's okay. That's kind of weird.
When he threw the pick
against the Giants.
And then he got like his elbow hit as he was throwing.
The ones that I'm concerned about. Sam Darnold's going to throw picks. Okay, let's get that out of the way. Okay, he's very talented. He's not the best quarterback on the planet, so he's going to throw some interceptions. So that means we need to hold on to the ball extra tight. So I 100% agree with you. C.J. Ham, Aaron Jones, you guys can't fumble. You just can't. Because we know we're going to account that Sam Darnold's going to have a couple picks throughout the season, right? He's going to throw his fair share of interceptions. We will try to make up for that with ball control, running the ball, and the defense making plays, Ginkle and Cashman and all these new free agents. Just amazing. Like, they will make up for that. They will make up for the 1 to 2 interceptions that we'll get out of Sam on any given Sunday. You can't. Aaron Jones is 29 years old. He's one of the best running backs in the league when he's healthy. You can't fumble that. You just can't. And especially, it would be one thing if it was like at the 50, which is, I get, like, oh, you'd rather give him the ball at the 50 than the 1. Kinda, because that should have been a touchdown. We should have beaten and that's why I gave him a C+ yesterday. I gave the offense a C+ grade whenever we were doing our grades from the couch. Check that out, by the way, every Tuesday. But, like, we should have beat this team by 3 possessions the same way we dog walked New York. I mean, it should have been the same thing. At
worst, you have to finish that drive with a kick. A field goal, an extra point, that drive has to finish when you're inside the red zone with a kick. Yeah. If you're up 13, you extend it to 16.
Yep.
San Fran cannot beat you in 2 scores. The best they can do is tie. The way Absolutely. Your defense had been playing, you're forcing Purdy to throw the ball. We saw how he got some happy feet. He was getting anxious in the pocket. Like, he was shook.
Did you see the video of him after the game talking to Flo?
No, I did not.
Oh, it's pretty funny. You'll have to check it out. He goes up to Flores and he's like, "Hey, man, that was a really good game. Your scheme is crazy." and everybody was like, "Yeah, it is. It's pretty nuts."
What kills me too, or what makes me excited about the Vikings season is you've got a sophomore quarterback next week. You've got Houston next week. Flores is going to throw things at Stroud that he's never seen. So I'm curious to see how Stroud, handles that. He's a top tier quarterback, so I'm sure he, But I watched I watched that entire game last week, or not last week, Sunday night. The Bears were giving him fits at times.
The Bears have a good defense.
That's going to be, and I know we're talking about previous week, and I know we'll talk about the Texans game here soon, but that's going to be a fun game with Hunter coming back, with Diggs coming back. That's going
Case
to be
Keenum.
Is he the backup?
He's the backup. So if Stroud
Oh,
goes down, I'm
gosh.
not rooting for Stroud to go down because Stroud is so fun to watch. He really is.
Even
He's
fantasy, don't lie.
No, I don't have him in any fantasy leagues. Right hand to
Mm-hmm.
God. I have Jaden Daniels and Kyler Murray. Those are my quarterbacks. But Stroud is fun to watch, and I think it's similar to the Jets. The NFL put a lot of chips on the Texans this year. They're in a
did.
lot of primetime games. I like watching good football. I don't want Stroud to get injured. But it would be funny if he got hurt and we had to watch like Case Keenum chucking YOLO balls to Stephon Diggs all game. And we had to
Minneapolis
just...
Miracle reversed.
Yeah.
Last second play, Keenum to Diggs, sideline touchdown.
We'd
Beat
call
the
it
Vikings.
the Minneapolis mishap this time. instead of
Minneapolis
the-
meltdown.
Yeah, the Minneapolis meltdown. But all right, look, we're 25 minutes into this. We do typically, I forgot to tell you this before the show, so get put on the spot, rookie. We are going to give out game balls. I had the defense last week, so you have to pick an offensive player. I'll give you a moment to think because I'll do my defensive game ball. My defensive game ball is going to go to Josh Metellus. I think he had a pick. It was, and I think he plays. I think he's a crucial part of that defense in everything that he does. He's kind of taking over. And this is not meant disrespectful to one of the greatest Vikings of all time. He's kind of taking over Harrison Smith's job of, we're going to put you deep on the field and you're going to, be the, oh crap, don't let him get behind you guy. The next play, we're going to put you at the line of scrimmage and have you play as a linebacker. The next play, we're going to have you as a pat. He's a chess piece. I think he's taking over. He's he might be my favorite player on the Vikings right now is Josh Metellus. So I'm going to give my game ball to him. I mean, look, he got a turnover. Like, what else do you want from me? He had a really good day. Also, honorable mention, Pat Jones had 2 sacks again. What'd you say he was on pace for? He's on pace for like 34 sacks or something.
32.
Yeah, Michael
He's
Strahan
averaging
could
2
never.
a game right now.
So if he gets 2
you're
against
right. I'm
the
sorry,
Texans,
it was 34. It was 34.
yeah. So that's pretty tough. But all right, offensively, who gets your game ball in this one? Why is it not Aaron Jones? Because he fumbled.
Does it have to be somebody that played in the game?
Yeah.
It can't be like O'Connell.
I will because you're a guest. I will
No,
simplify
I won't
the
do that.
scheme.
I won't do that. Okay, I won't do that. I won't do that. No, I'll give my game ball to
The answer's right there, buddy. He dropped like 36 points in fantasy.
Jefferson.
He had a 97. Yeah, he had the longest touchdown for the Vikings since like Randy Moss.
Sam Darnold. I'm giving my ball to Sam Darnold.
Coward.
And the reason I'm giving my ball to Sam Darnold is because, yes, he had the 97-yard touchdown. Somebody had to throw that ball. Somebody had to stay cool, calm, and collected in the pocket and dish a 50-yard dart in the air, which was Sam Darnold. Somebody had to use their legs and improvise a couple times when the pocket was collapsing and they were doubling up Jefferson and everybody else was stuck on a receiver. And there's a 15, 20-yard gap in the middle of the field. The oceans parted like the Red Sea, and Sammy D took advantage of the, what the defense gave him. So I'm going to give my ball to Sam Darnold. Jefferson goes out in was it the third quarter?
It was late in the third or early in the fourth, yeah.
Late in the third.
But he had a
early
97-yard touchdown catch.
He did. But you don't have the best wide receiver in football, in the National Football League, on the field. You don't have a top-tier tight end on the field in T.J. Hawkinson, who's still rocking the IR, recovering from a knee injury. And he still orchestrated a drive to go down the field to extend the lead with Jalen Naylor and Brandon Powell and Johnny Munt
Goat.
and Ty Chandler. He still orchestrated a drive to close the game out, and that's why he gets my game ball this week.
I love it. Yeah, we could have just done what Kevin O'Connell did, which, look, I love Kevin O'Connell. This was bullcrap, and he has no fortitude, in my opinion, for this. I don't know if you watched his post-game speech. It was pretty simple. It was like, hey, that was a, blah, blah, blah. That was a good fight. That was a 12-round fight, and we stood in there, and we punched harder than them, blah, blah, blah. Everybody gets a game ball. And it's like, you coward. You can give out like 3 max. But like, give it to Donald, give it to Jefferson, and then give it to like Naylor.
That's a
Give it
cop-out.
to. It is a cop out. Everybody gets a game ball as a cop out. I'm sorry. I'll stand on that. I'll go to my grave saying that.
From a coaching standpoint, I can respect it.
Aaron Jones doesn't get a game ball. He had like 30 rushing yards and a fumble at the 1. That's not game ball material, okay? That's the duality of Aaron Jones as a 29-year-old. And he went out of the game with an injury. And it's like, oh, hey, maybe that's why Green Bay let him go, is because he's 29 years old and he gets injured a lot and blah, blah, blah. But, all right, this was fun. This was a good show. Check us out tomorrow. We'll be looking ahead to the Houston game. Really big game. If the Vikings start 3-0, the show might cease to exist because I might die of excitement. And then the ultimate irony will be I'll die, and then the Vikings will win the Super Bowl this year. And if that happens, Josh, you and Dad have to watch the Super Bowl at my grave. That's the rules. And I won't bury it in my Jim Klein salsa jersey.
We will take your ashes and spread them at US Bank Arena.
Secretly. I think that's illegal.
They'll never know. You'll
just
fill
throw
in
it.
with
Just throw it down during a playoff game while the other team's on offense, and then I'll be out there making plays from the afterlife, tripping people up. You always hear about the turf monster.
Turf monster.
That's what gets them. It's people spreading ashes on the field and slipping them up.
going on.
This is I don't know if you saw. I don't know how many press conferences you listen to. This will be like my
Not
we
a lot.
always do final thoughts.
Not a lot.
I listened to Brian Flores' press conference today, and he was talking about, someone asked him about Kevin O'Connell, and he was like, yeah, Kevin has this like persona that everyone knows where he's like a really good dude. He has a dark side. Like, he's kind of mean. like when you start talking about football. And he was like, and I like that. That's the guy I like. Like, I like walking with is the mean Kevin O'Connell. So this is the mean Load the Box, LTB After Dark. But all right, I'll let you say final thoughts, and then we'll go home.
Final thoughts. Great win for the Vikings. Very, very fun start to the year. I can't think of a better tandem of coaches between O'Connell and Flores. O'Connell with the offense and Flores with the defense. I hope that Flores' lawsuit with the NFL stays for the next 20 years, and that man stays on the sideline, because we see what happened to Mike Zimmer getting torched by Derek Carr and the Saints. So he can have fun down there with McCarthy. But final thoughts, Vikings look really good. Everybody, let's stay healthy and take it to the Texans next week.
Let's get it. All right, guys, we'll be back tomorrow. I'm Jordan. He's Josh. Josh, thank you for filling in. Skol, y'all.